So to recap of where we're at so far with our starter app in AppStudio, we have two forms, Form 1 and Form 2. And within Form 1, we've built out a header control, and within that, we have a hamburger menu, which behaves as a drop-down when we view it in our browser to test it out. The problem that we want to solve now is to get this header and hamburger menu appearing on every form within our app. And of course, the reason we want to do this is because we'd want consistent navigation throughout our app. The problem is at the moment, if we click onto Form 2, we then get stuck because we don't have the header and we don't have the hamburger menu. We can't go anywhere else. Of course, one way would be to copy the header and hamburger menu to the second form. The problem with that would be if we needed to update it, we would have to update it in two places. Then, of course, if we have many forms, many different pages, then we'd have to update it on every single one, and that will become impossible to maintain. So there is a solution to this, and it just requires a small snippet of code, which I'm going to show you now. So if we go to code view of the form where we have our header and hamburger menu, we'll click onto the code tab. I'm going to insert this code. So what's happening here is when this Form 1 displays, so on show, so when it loads for the first time, this line will trigger. And what this does, this targets the header global control, which, as we know, that is the name, or that is the ID of our header. And what it's doing, it's appending or adding this header to the global app container. And that global app container is called NSB page. So NSB page.append child, and then pass in header global. This single line will ensure that that element will appear on every form that we display. And of course, we could add other items in here if we wanted something else. For example, if we had a footer section with some buttons that we wanted to appear throughout the app, we could do the same. We could add another line here and append the component to the NSB page top level object. So this is just something you'd need to know that's buried in the documentation for AppStudio. But once you know it, then it solves our problem. So let's save it and run it and see what happens. So we'll run our app in the browser by hitting the start button, and it will refresh over here. So let's see whether this is updated. So we've got a home screen, we've got a navigation, and then let's click on Form 2. And there we go, we've switched to Form 2, as we can see from the content, but the header and the navigation are still there. So that's great. And if we click on the menu again and click on Home, we can go back to Home. So there we have a persistent header and navigation for our app.